Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to work through a Year 12 pure maths question from the AS 2018 paper. And as you can see, this question is about logs and rules of logs. So we have a student's attempt to solve the equation 2 log base 2 of x subtract log base 2 of root x equal to 3 is shown below. So the first line, if I just call that line 1, so they've just rewritten the equation again. That's fine. Now, if we look at line 2, let's see what the student's done. So they've combined the two logs on the left side into one. Now, that's not right. Why is that not right? Well, let's look at the coefficients of the two logs in the first line. The coefficient of the first log is 2, and the coefficient of the second log is 1. Well, technically minus 1, but the size of that coefficient is 1. Okay. We can only use the law of subtraction of logs, which is what they've done in line 2. They've used the law of subtraction where you divide the insides of the logs. You can only do that if the coefficients have the same size. So let's just say line 2 is only possible if size of both coefficients of the logs is 2, but obviously they're not. So that line is not right. Let's put like a cross there. Let me do a better cross. There we go. Now for line 3, they've just simply divided x and root x to give you root x. Okay, that's fine. That's correct. No problem with that. Line 4, they've then used the power rule of log. So again, if you know your rules of logs, you will know that log x to the power of n is the same as n log x. So if the power is a half, obviously x to the power of a half is the same as square root of x. So obviously log root x is the same as log x to the half, which is the same as a half log x by the power rule, log x. There we go. So they've just brought the half to the front, and obviously now that 2 there has disappeared. So that's fine. Again, no problem with that. And then the line 5, they've said x is 3 squared. No, that's not right. No. It should be 2 to the power of 3, the base to the power of the answer. Okay, so if you know your definitions of logs, if you've got log base b of x equal to y, x must be equal to the base b to the power of y. So that line there is wrong. Now, part A of the question is literally to identify the two errors made by the student, giving a brief explanation of each. So that's what we'll go and do right now. But just before we get into the video, I want to make you all aware about a web app that I have created. Now, this app that you see on the screen here is designed to predict the 2027 Edexcel A-level maths topics that will come up in your 2027 exams. So now that the 2026 exams have finished, we now have access to those questions. So what I've done is I've analysed all of the questions from 2026 back to 2018, and also including the sample and the specimen Edexcel papers. And I've used that data to put together a model which will predict the topics for the 2027 exams. And if we just scroll down here, you will see how accurate this model that I'm using is. So if you do want to have access to the full predictions for the 2027 exams, and also have access to a web app which will generate mock exam papers based on these predictions, that is what you can get if you do sign up to this app. Just go to the link in the description of this video, and also you can get the link to this web app in my bio. Click that link, sign up. You can see on the top right of the page here, you can sign up. Sign up to the app and you'll be able to access all of these 2027 predictions. Because we've already done the hard work, we can just kind of copy what we've already said. So the first mistake is line 2. Let's say that we can only use subtraction rule of logs if the size of coefficients of both logs is the same. So, I mean, if you want to, you could say here that, 2 log base 2x subtract 2 log base 2 root x is equal to 2 log base 2 x over root x. That's fine. But we are missing that 2 here. So we're missing the 2. Okay, so that's our first mistake. And then the next one is obviously line 5. So line 5. Log base 2 x equals 3 tells us that x is equal to the base number 2 to the power of 3. So not 3 to the power of 2. They've got it the wrong way round. Just another quick interjection. If you are currently doing Edexcel A-level maths and you feel that you're struggling or you're falling behind and you're not quite getting that grade that you need to get in order to get into university, or perhaps you're a parent watching this and you're worried about your child's progress, what you can do is you can head to my website. Now, my website is in my bio and also in the description of this video. Click onto the link and you can watch a brief video about me and my background. You see this video on the screen here. In this video, I outline the style and the structure of my tuition. You can also read some of my reviews and testimonials from other parents and students who have worked with me on this website too. So if you feel like one-to-one tuition is something that would benefit you in order to get the grades that you need to get, then again, just head to this website. And what you can do is you can book a free 90-minute call with me. And in that call, we'll spend some time discussing you, your situation, your ambitions, what you want to achieve, the grade you want to get, and why you feel like you're struggling and why you feel like maybe tuition is the right path for you. And we'll also spend some time basically doing a free trial lesson where I will help you out for free with any particular topics or any particular areas of the syllabus that you know you need help with. And by the end of the call, we can then discuss whether one-to-one tuition is the right path for you to get you that grade you need to get. So once again, the link to my website is in the bio and in the description of this video. Great, so that's part A done. So now part B is to write out the correct solution. So let's just write down the equation again. Let's write this down here. So the equation is 2 log base 2x subtract log base 2 root x. And I think it was equal to 3. Yes, it was equal to 3. So what we need to do, if we want to use the subtraction rule, where we divide the insides of the logs, we need to make sure the size of the coefficients are the same, as we said before, right? So we can use the power rule with that first log, because this is log base 2 and then x squared. Okay, so I've used the power rule on the first log and then subtract the second log, root x equal to 3. So now we can use the subtraction rule. So let's do that down here. So therefore, this is log with a base of 2, and then it's x squared over root x, now that we've got the same coefficients. And that's equal to 3. So we can simplify the inside of the log that we have here. So log base 2, and then x squared divided by x to the power of a half. So basic indices, okay, this is going to give you x to the power of 3 over 2, or x to the power of 1.5. So there we go, and that's equal to 3. So now then, as we said earlier in the video, so if you've got log base 2 of something equals 3, this means the base 2 to the power of 3 is equal to the argument of the function, which is x to the power of 3 over 2 in this case. So therefore, 2 to the power of 3 is equal to x to the power of 3 over 2. So therefore, this means that 8 is equal to x to the power of 3 over 2. So what we can do to both sides is square both sides. So we can say that x squared is equal to x to the power of 3. So squaring both sides removes the power of a half that's there. So therefore, this gives us 64. So 64 is x cubed. And then now we can take a cube root of 64. Take the cube root of 64. And that would be 4. So that's our answer there. If you do have any questions, do let me know in the comments and I will try to help you out. But hopefully everything there does make sense.